Hello, here's my art portfolio. It starts out with the cover page, summary, and then the table of contents. And I separated my art projects by content area, and I started out with reading. And for the first reading one, it was the pumpkin one. I did a lesson on this, and you'll see throughout my portfolio, I did do some projects multiple times. I just wanted to give my students different ways to see they could do a project. And with this particular one, I did a lesson with a reading passage, and students read about pumpkins and all about pumpkins, and then they got to make their own at the end. And then with the monsters, I made a few of these. And I thought this would be a fun way for either students could create some of the characters that they're reading about, or they could make their own character and then write their own short passage or story about it. And then we're moving into math, and it was the name monster one. And for this math lesson, I did focused on line of symmetry, and this would be for your a little bit younger elementary students, and it would focus on line of symmetry, and I would remind them that whatever they did on one side, they would need to do on the other side. Now moving into science, I did the geometric tree, and with this one I focused on seasons, and students could draw the geometric tree and then color it with the coordinating season that we worked with that day. Another science one was the construction paper, the tear bug one. And I did a bee, and then with the lesson, we focused on the parts of a bee and the bee's life cycle. Moving into social studies, I thought this would be really cool for older students who are studying Greek gods and goddesses, and then they could create this with their Greek god or goddess. And then health, I thought this would be fun to do for allowing students to portray themselves, how they see themselves either at that moment or how they want to see themselves in the future, their career, their way of life, things like that. And now I'll move into some of the projects that I didn't necessarily enjoy the most. They ended up being the construction paper ones, most of them. And this one I didn't necessarily know how to incorporate into a certain content area. This one, I could incorporate it into science, and students can work on the photosynthesis and like the changing colors of the leaves and stuff like that. And then this one I could use in science and math. In science, I could do it with seasons like I did earlier with a geometric tree, but also I could do it in math where students could focus on using shapes with making their tree. And then now we're moving into projects that I really enjoyed. This one I thought it was really fun to do, like blending the colors and everything. And I thought I could incorporate it into a health lesson where students could color their emotions and then put the coordinating color to each emotion they're feeling. This one, I made two of them. I thought these were really fun. I don't necessarily know right now what content area I could put them in, but I thought it would be a fun Halloween activity to do. And then this one I made two also. It could go with reading or science. Reading, they could be draw with the oil pastels one of the characters they're reading about, and then do the watercolor over. And then science, they could do it with insects, kind of like this one, a spider, and then do the same thing. And the last one I really enjoyed was this one, and the watercolor and the lines. I was a little hesitant about liking it at first, but I ended up liking it a lot. The watercolor, I thought that could be really cool because every student's will be different. And then I thought it could be incorporated into science. They could do the planets with this one. I think this is the first thing I thought of when I saw this project was the planets. And then here's my creativity plan. And then my reflection. Thank you.